Hecker the holder, Morgan Cox the long snapper. The kick from Sly is good. And the Tennessee Titans end their 10-game losing streak and finally get their first win of the season here in Week 5.
Yeah, baby. The Titans have won a football game. Didn't know if we'd ever see it this year. And boy, was it a special way to get there yesterday. But they did it. 22-21. The Tennessee Titans waltz into Arizona. And in that fourth quarter, they waltz out of there with their first win of the year, their first win in the last 10 games. And the Tennessee Titans improved to 1-4. We have a Victory Monday to discuss about the Tennessee Titans here on Robby and Rexrode. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you. We are live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Joe Rexrode, a Titans Victory Monday, baby. How we doing?
I mean, they won. Did they win or did they win? You know?
They won.
That's called a dub, man. That's called a dub. By the way, anybody who's watching, I am here. I am actually. I'm.
I looked at the screen. I was like, is Joe okay?
You think the darkness is your ally? I was born in it. Oh boy, I got to be quiet. Actually, sorry. This will wake somebody up around here. But doing all right. Thanks.
That's good. That's good.
Thanks.
Ian, how we doing? What's going on?
Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy fall break. And how about a dub, huh? Let's start the week off right.
Look, man, I'm not kidding you. I didn't know if we were ever really going to get a chance to do this year. Like even yesterday, I'm sitting there and it's 21-6, and the Titans can't get anything done at all offensively. And I'm just like, oh man, I don't know that we're ever going to be talking about a win this whole year. And then the Arizona Cardinals pulled off one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. He had a 76-yard touchdown in the bag. And for some reason, this keeps happening in the NFL and in football in general. And I cannot for the life of me understand it. Like this fascination
I can't either.
with dropping the football right as you're entering the end zone so you can get to celebrating. Like if I was the coach of any team around America, I would be teaching them to go Forrest Gump. Just keep running all the way through the end zone into like the exit to the stadium before you drop the ball. But you got that happened. And then Cam Ward throws a pick that results in a fumble that bounces into the end zone that Tyler Lockett recovers for a touchdown. One of the most incredible things I've ever seen. It was actually, I said this after the game yesterday. I was like, objectively, probably the most hilarious second half I've ever seen. And it results in a nice Titans victory, baby. Just beautiful.
You know, I do feel like, and I don't know what the heck the Arizona Cardinals did other than like this is, I mean, they are a franchise where stuff like this happens to them. But like there are times we talk about, the hockey gods, the football gods. I mean, someone just felt bad for the Titans, and again, I don't know what the Cardinals did. But, on top of that, you have the fumble that goes off Kyler Murray's helmet. So you have so those three things together, incredibly improbable. It almost is weird with some of these drops before you get in. Like it's like, first of all, I don't know how many touchdowns he has or will have in his NFL career. I would take advantage of like the greatest celebration / spike / whatever you want to do, getting a touchdown like that or any sort of touchdown. It's like it's incredible. And again, that makes it 28-6. So that with like 12 minutes left, it's just over. It's just garbage time.
Yeah.
It's just a garbage time 12 minutes if he doesn't do what he did. And then, like you said, then you throw on top of that the pick fumble touchdown, which hasn't happened in the NFL since Robert Meacham fell on
my guy
a fumble. There you go, a VFL Robert Meacham for the Saints. I had him on some fantasy teams in 2009. So just that play, you combine it with a Leon Lett play, and you combine that with you started off with the helmet fumble. I mean, truly amazing stuff.
It really was. And by the way, Demercado, who dropped the football for the Cardinals, has in his career, 89 rushes for 596 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's what he's got. So 3 touchdowns to his credit.
So
So
he
that
almost
fourth one he
had
couldn't get.
He almost had a 25% increase. No, wait a minute. Am I doing that right? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you are.
A large, in his total career, in his career touchdowns. I mean, that is, man, they got injuries, obviously. Connors, I mean, they got serious running back issues. And it's like, man, here's your chance to take advantage of an opportunity, and boom, short yardage, and you're into the clear. And then that's what he comes away with. And I mean, what is the because the thing is, the Cardinals aren't bad, and they're in this crazy division, but like I feel like all those teams are pretty good. That might be a loss that like sends them spiraling.
Yeah, like I mean,
I don't know. I think they might be kind of bad.
I mean,
Think so?
Offensively, they were. I kept waiting for them to break the game open. I mean, they started off. The Titans couldn't stop them, right? Like Marvin Harrison, I thought Marvin Harrison after the first 2 drives yesterday was going to catch about 25 balls for 400 yards. Like I was like, he's going to get all of his career catches like today in the game. And then the Titans did a decent job of slowing him down the rest of the game. I say I kept waiting for the Cardinals offense to break open, but to your point, Joe, like they were moving the ball still okay. And then they snapped the ball off Kyler Murray's face, which for a second, Kyler Murray walked into the injury tent and was walking off the field. And I was like, did he get concussed by the football getting snapped and hitting him between the eyes? Because if so, I don't want to laugh at somebody's concussion, but that would have been the most incredible injury in the history of the National Football League. And then they said it was a foot injury. And I was like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. But, he got snapped in the head with the football, and then the guy drops the ball. So I guess they did move the ball in the second half. It's just incredibly they found ways to not score while doing that.
Yeah, like would that have been like the accidental K-ball thing or something? Like accidentally threw in a bowling ball instead of a football or something? Like, no, I thought the same thing. I'm like, there's no way that concussed him, right? But that would have fit into this game pretty well. Yeah, and look, and we're going to get into Cam and everything. The Titans D, I just thought, I mean, basically it's like every week I thought, Simmons is all over the field, unblockable, destroying double teams. Kyler Murray eluded him a couple times, but but he also got him once. I mean, and then the rest of it is not very good. And it's just not looking very good. But like you said, they found their way into some stops there late as the Cardinals were puckering up. So you take advantage. Cardinals going to put something on a platter for you. Hey, the Titans, to their credit, they took it.
Well, and look, there's been one game already this year where the other team has tried to hand it to you. Like Denver tried to hand you the first game, and the Titans basically handed it back and said, no, thank you. You can take this back. I mean, yesterday was kind of an all-time handing of the game from Arizona. Like I don't know that we'll ever see a game play out the way that it played out yesterday again in our life if we watch football for as long as we watch it, because it's unbelievable, some of the stuff we saw yesterday. But, I said it before that last Titans drive. It's like, here you go. Like, you got a chance. Like, if they're going to try to hand you the game, you might as well take it. And to their credit, they went out there and took it. And look, like you said, we're going to get into Cam Ward's day pretty heavily throughout the show today. But I thought for, 75, 80% of the game, he was pretty bad yesterday. Like, he was, he didn't get a whole lot of help. And the drops have got to stop. Like, the Titans receiving corps has got to catch the ball, but he was way all over the place yesterday. He was way too inaccurate with the football. And then, as they were coming back in the game, he made some great throws, just some great throws in that game. And, oh, by the way, I mean, Calvin Ridley, 5 catches, $131. That's what you're looking for out of Ridley yesterday.
Yeah, no, it's just, I guess it's just like the whole thing. It was, yeah, if that touchdown isn't dropped, 28-6, 12 minutes left. I mean, at that point, I would call this the worst Titans performance of the year and the worst Cam Ward performance of the year, which is very discouraging. When you get to this point, you're not seeing progress. You're seeing the opposite of that. You're seeing regression. And then he ends up with do you know what his season high in passing yards was? Did he have a 200-yard game?
I think he may have hit like 212 in a game, something like that.
Okay. Well, 193 in the fourth alone. 193 yards in the fourth alone. And again, like sometimes that may happen for this team and for him because it's just empty calories, in a blowout, which again, that's what this was. With 12 minutes left, it would have been okay. You can dink and dunk all you want and the game's over. But instead, they actually had a chance. They came back and especially the second throw to Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
You think about what the first one was a dot too, but the second one was like, to me, like there was no separation on that play. So you couldn't have possibly thrown that ball better.
Yeah, Cam Ward had 219 yards against the Colts in the 41-20 loss. And other than that, had not thrown for over 200 yards. Yesterday, like you said, an incredible fourth quarter, and he ends up with 265 yards passing in the game yesterday against the Cardinals. That's where we begin today. We'll get there, get through to more of your Titans thoughts throughout the show. 615-737-1025. The Titans win a football game 22-21 against the Arizona Cardinals. Just some all-time gaffes by Arizona. We'll take your thoughts on all that. 615-737-1025. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
All right, fellas. Listen up, man. That's exactly what we needed. We had to show that we could fight for 4 quarters and make the plays necessary to win the game. And you just saw it. It's not pretty. Sometimes some got to go your way. But you guys kept fighting, and you fought every snap from start to finish. You guys deserve that. You guys deserve that. And listen, it's just one. It's just one. Right? We want to stack. We want to keep going. And if we keep playing like that and you guys keep fighting like that, everything's going to be just fine. All right, so you guys enjoy this one, man. Turn the music up.
Yeah, Brian Callahan's fired up. Big 22-21 win for the Tennessee Titans yesterday against the Arizona Cardinals, snapping the 10-game losing streak dating back to last year. Titans are 1-4, and they get a road victory out there with significant help from the Arizona Cardinals. Nice speech from Brian Callahan after the game, Joe.
Did we just become best friends?
It was the first thing that came to mind. I was like, oh boy, here we go again.
I can't unhear it. I simply can't unhear it. But hey,
similarities are striking.
Listen, I tell you what, yeah, it's uncanny is what it is. But hey, like we're sitting there yesterday. I think we may have been texting a little bit about this with Charles, but I definitely was thinking it's like, and watching them yesterday, and I'm like, if you told me Brian Callahan will not get an opportunity to ever have a post-game victory speech this year, and that could mean whatever you want. That could mean fired midseason. That could mean 0-17.
Yeah,
and he's there the whole time. I would have bought that. I'd have bought that. That's how bad it was, and how bad it's been. So that was like, I mean, that's an all-time like. Just I know I read Gentry's columns. He cited NFL Gen Stats. I think 98%. These games where it's like 99.3% chance of winning, but it was 98% according to that particular site. And yeah, it seemed about right. I mean, when DeMarcado is an inch from the goal line, I'd say it was 99.99999%. Right?
I was gonna say, I wonder what the percentage was as he was streaking down to about the 10, where the percentage is just skyrocketing at that point. Oh man.
Another thing I must critique, if you're in that Titans locker room, you don't have to say yep after everything he says. Yep. Yeah, just let him talk a little bit and then cheer and get together. Do we know who that was?
I don't know.
Who's the yep guy?
I don't know.
Too many yeps.
Look, let's make one thing clear, because I'm already seeing some of this from Titans fans. We are well aware that game had more to do with Arizona just totally giving it away than the Titans taking it. I mean, anybody with a pair of eyeballs who saw that game, I think, understands that. Now, I will say, there were still plays out there that had to be made by the Titans in order for some of those mistakes to matter at the end of it. And the Titans, to their credit, made those plays. So, again, we're going to get into that throughout the show. But we understand that, it's an all-time – it really is. Go back and watch that second half. It's all-time stuff from the Arizona Cardinals yesterday that are directly responsible for the Tennessee Titans winning that game. So I get that. Having said that, Joe, if you're a Titans fan, can you just enjoy it for a day or two? How many more times this year are we gonna be talking about a win on a Monday after a Titans game? I don't think the answer is going to be very many. And I understand that, yesterday's game had more to do with the other team totally screwing it up than it did you going out and taking it. But just enjoy it today. Just enjoy a nice Titans win. It's been a while since we've seen one. That would be my advice.
Yeah. Well, and as we will talk more, but to me, the takeaway that means something other than holy crap is that one of the all-time, all-time chokes and all-time lucky wins. The takeaway that matters is that your rookie QB did come up when the opportunities came about in a ridiculous manner. He still has to do what he did, and he did it at a high level at the end. So. And again, even for him, that was a huge, it was like going one way and then, whoa, off the charts the other way. But with him, that was not like, now, granted, one of the touchdowns was his pick. Now, his pick was also tipped.
Yeah.
at the line. So I don't know, had that pass not been tipped, what would have happened on the play. But still, the guy made big time plays. Now, Robby, you want people to appreciate this and celebrate a win, but I don't know, because I got a texter on the text line driven by Wilson County Hyundai.com 615-737-1025 who says, am I crazy for thinking this team should beat Vegas next week? I gotta say, they are buns.
I mean, they're bad.
Are we talking about a win streak here?
They're bad. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Vegas is not good. So I mean, the Titans are going to have a shot heading into that, because I mean, you're talking about two pretty bad teams. I mean, I will say Vegas at the moment on FanDuel Sportsbook is a 5.5 point favorite. So take that for whatever you will. Arizona, a 9 point favorite yesterday, Joe, and the Titans didn't care. They went out there and won the game. You know, a lot of narrative flipped yesterday, Joe. They've been really bad in the fourth quarter. Titans 16, Arizona 0 in the fourth quarter yesterday. Have some of that.
Well, just the Titans scoring as much as they did in general in a football game. I mean, you get into the 20s anymore, that alone should be a parade around here.
I totally agree. You know, Tajay Spears back yesterday for the Titans, only had, I think, 4 touches in the game. So 4 carries, 14 yards for Spears. So kind of easing him back into the fold. They really didn't run the ball all that well yesterday when you look at their overall numbers. I mean, it's 24 carries for 78 yards. That's 3.3 a carry. Pollard had a few plays where he broke loose a little bit. I think his long on the day was 14. But they really didn't run the ball that much. To your point, Joe, like they just, when they got in the red zone yesterday and scored the touchdown, that was, I think, the first time they had been in the red zone the last 2 weeks. I think that's the first time they'd done it in the last 2 weeks. So, I mean, that just kind of shows you how the day was going offensively. They were getting nothing done. And then I think yesterday also an argument, Joe, where, we can look at all the analytics and the charts and all these formulas. And I'm not saying that those things don't have value. But I think yesterday a pretty glaring example of how momentum in sports is a real thing. And when Arizona just flushes it down the toilet the way they did, like you could see the life come into the Titans. And then all of a sudden they started to make some plays.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, absolutely. Momentum psychology. It was, and I do, I know people on the Titans are like, he said they deserved it. They absolutely did not deserve it. I will agree with his assessment that they didn't stop playing. Now that that short yardage defensive rep on the dropped touchdown was not, the finest moment for Denard Wilson's defense. But
no.
I've never thought that they've quit. I think the closest I've seen to that was in the latter half of the fourth quarter in Houston, where it was just like, that game was over like we thought this one was about to be. And it just, the energy reduced. But yeah, they do deserve some credit for continuing to play, because this has been a pretty bad situation. I mean, if you're on that team in that locker room with that coaching staff, I mean, come on. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's potentially toxic. So I think there is some credit due for forging through all that.
Let's head to our 1025 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Kenny, the mailman, to the program. Kenny, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Friends, although it's overcast and will be a rainy day for mailmen, a win is a win. It
That's
makes
right.
it a little more sunnier. Two quick things. One, with 19 minutes to go, what was your guess on how much yardage the Titans had on offense?
Oh, good Lord. Like, I'll say like $180.
No, they had 99 yards total offense with 19 minutes to go in the game. So that's one of the reasons why I said, well, there's not going to be much of a comeback today, fellas. But watching it, I wish someone would call in that actually knows something about kicking. I know nothing about kicking, and you can't find kicking talk. On the extra point from the Titans kicker, it went as far sideways as it did forward. And if you notice, his last kick was on the left hash mark, another 2 yards and that was right. So most kickers, when they hook it, it misses left. Why is he kicking and missing it right? And I mean missing it ugly, UGLY.
Yeah.
Y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Kenny. Appreciate it. I mean, to his point, Joe, I mean,
he almost missed
the
it.
last the game-winning kick is close, man. Like if that kick was 5 yards further back, I think he would have missed. I mean, I saw it and I knew it was in, but I also you can hear it on the broadcast too. It's like, it's
Well,
pretty close.
I was just gonna ask Ian, can you play that again? Because yes, it's pretty freaking funny actually. The broadcast call the win because it is very much what anybody watching was thinking, the exact same thing.
Hecker the holder, Morgan Cox the long snapper. The kick from Sly is good. And the Tennessee Titans end their 10-game losing streak.
Oh, I mean, I texted you yesterday, and then you and me and Charles were in a text thread, and I was like, I will admit, I fully expected that kick to get blocked at the end of the game. I was like, here it is. The Titans are set up for a nice win, and here's going to be a nice field goal block. But nope, he got it in there. It's the only thing that matters. Only thing that matters.
That's right. It counts as always. All I know is Joey Slide hits a game-winning field goal, man. That's all I know. I'll tell you what, I expect some tryouts this week.
Yeah.
More tryouts.
I think I might expect some tryouts too. And to Johnny's point on YouTube, which is an important thing to bring up. What if I told you before the season, Joe, that through the first 5 weeks of the NFL year, the Titans would have the same record as the Baltimore Ravens? What would your response be?
Well played. Incredible, man. I still think the Ravens are winning it all, by the way.
They're going to need to get to work.
I know, but that's a great stat. If you just said that right there, it'd be like, oh my goodness.
Cam Ward is unbelievable.
Cam Ward, Rookie of the Year, incoming.
Well, speaking of Cam Ward, we're going to get into his day coming up yesterday. It was pretty bad early on, and then some clutch plays at the end that led the Titans to a win. What did you make of Cam Ward's day? We'll take your thoughts on that. 615-737-1025. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
Right now, Ward is able to set his feet and throw the ball on time. Ward puts some air under it. Up the sideline! Ridley! Cam Ward on the money. Digging deep for Tennessee, a pickup of 38.
It doesn't get any more beautiful than this throw. Ridley knows he's got the outside leverage on Clark. And oh my goodness, Cam Ward just drops it in the perfect place.
How did you feel to finish it off and see the kick go through?
I feel good. A win, especially for my first one in a game like that, it's a big time win. But I think the biggest thing is just we got to continue to build off of it. We got to continue to attack the week the right way and try to get a win next week.
That's Cam Ward after the game. Titans win 22-21 against the Arizona Cardinals, and it was almost two different games for Cam Ward in that game, Joe. The majority of it didn't go very well for Cam Ward. And his first half, he was 5 of 16 for 58 yards. That was the stat line for Cam Ward at halftime. Now, to be fair, there were some drops in there. The Titans receivers have got to catch the ball. Io Manor with some drops yesterday. Lockett with a drop yesterday. So, I mean, they gotta catch the ball. Now, having said that, Cam Ward on some of the ball placement was not very good. Like even the Lockett one,
Right.
the ball was behind Lockett on the play. Now, would you like to see Lockett haul it in? Sure. And you'd like to see your receivers help out your quarterback. But I would describe Cam Ward's basically first 3 quarters yesterday. I mean, he was all over the place with the football, very inaccurate.
Yep, no doubt. And that's not good. That's concerning. It's alarming. And I agree. Like a lot of these drops, it really is. It's almost like 50-50 on some of them. It's like, yes, professional receiver, Tyler Lockett, veteran. I mean, we know he's a hell of a fumble recoverer in the end zone guy, but you got to catch that, both hands on it. Also, Cam Ward puts some serious hot sauce on some of those throws, and when they're a little bit off like that and behind a guy going the other way, it's tougher than it looks by just saying 2 hands on it. So I do think there's quite a few drops this year that they have to qualify as drops, but they're not like that ball was perfect and how the heck did you drop it? It was like, yeah, but the pass needs to be a little better.
Yeah, I would totally agree. So that was the story for the majority of the game. And look, Joe, even on the touchdown, it's a tip ball that's intercepted and then fumbled and kicked into the end zone that the Titans recover. So that's how the Titans scored the touchdown yesterday on that one. So there's that part of it that you got to keep in mind as well. But when it became clear that the Titans were at least going to have a shot to drive down the field and have a chance to get back in the game, and then certainly on the last drive have a chance to go win the game, Cam Ward made some great plays. He made some great throws. I mean, a couple throws to Ridley were just outstanding. Outstanding throws that he made. Throws that you watch and you say, yep, that's what you're looking for from the quarterback position there. So, there was a lot of bad mixed into his performance yesterday, but in big moments when they absolutely had to have it, I thought he came through and came up with some big plays for him. So that part of it, I think, is really encouraging to see. As you mentioned, there's still a lot that has gone on with him, and not just him, but the whole offense through the first 5 games that you worry about a little bit moving forward here. But I thought, potentially maybe a launching point for him in what he pulled off on that last drive, especially.
Yeah, Ed and others have expressed that on the text line. Hopefully this is a turning point for him. Absolutely. Turning point for this team. Again, 2 straight wins leading into New England, which, by the way, won at Buffalo last night. And all of a sudden, how the heck did New England lose to the Raiders, by the way? Can I just ask that question real fast? But 2 straight wins on the table. I think Latham is supposed to be back this week. I am interested to see this offense with him, with what that means for the running game. Still not loving what I'm seeing from Dan Moore on a consistent basis. But, but momentum for the team, They could get another win, and maybe at the end of the year, Titans fans will look back and say, "Holy crap, we only have the number 3 pick and not the number 1 pick. This game blew it for us." Momentum, the team is what it is. It's not good. Momentum for Cam Ward, that's where you really want this to be. You want this to be a huge confidence builder for him. And again, if you do get Latham back in there, and now you have, okay, there you go. Calvin Ridley, yeah, he can still get open and make big plays, in case anybody was wondering. Now, then you start getting into other teams looking at Calvin Ridley, right? And saying, okay, he might be able to help us. But regardless, so you take that away from Cam Ward, that wouldn't be great for this season or even for him individually. But you hope that this means something for him. I still, like you said, I'm concerned just about the I think some of it is footwork, some of it is just rushing, but just missing some throws and just being off, sometimes a little off, sometimes a lot off. That stuff's got to get cleaned up, for him to be a good quarterback in the NFL long term.
Well, and on that last drive, obviously the play to Ridley is the big one. But I thought, the over-the-shoulder pass to Helm, first off, good pass by him, great catch by Helm. I saw Mike Herndon tweet this yesterday, and I would agree. I think they need to try to find the way to get the ball to Gunnar Helm a little bit more. And I'm not saying you got to target Gunnar Helm, 12 times a game or anything, but I think he's shown in the preseason and now in the regular season that he can go get the ball. Like he's got some good hands on it. So I would try to go get him the football, I think, a little bit more if I'm the Titans. But that's another play where, just dropped it kind of right in the bucket there in a spot where Helm was going to be the only guy that got it. So, you could say on those last 2 drives there, the strike to Ridley over the middle of the field, the strike to Ridley on the outside where he created a little bit of separation and caught it on the sideline, and then that play to Helm. Those are 3 pretty big-time throws from Cam Ward there.
Without question. So can you take those? Like, we know he can make ridiculous throws. Like, he can make some throws that not every starting quarterback in the NFL can make. I don't know what percentage of them can make it, but they're like top shelf. Some of his big time throws are like, okay, that like you see, like a Stafford. I'm not saying he's that, but I'm saying like some of those throws bring that to mind, the zip and the placement. But now so he can hit sometimes he'll go out there and hit the 25-foot bomb, with a swish, and you're like, wow, got to hit those layups, got to hit those mid ranges. Yeah. Can you pair those things together? But again, the last thing for him here is winning a football game with big time throws with 193 yards in a fourth quarter. That's the takeaway from this, beyond the ridiculousness of what Arizona did to hand the game away, that you hope means something if you're a Titans fan.
Does this officially mean that Cam Ward saying we asked last week inspired them to a win?
Maybe it inspired them to prove it very, very emphatically for 3+ quarters. Like for 40.
The Cardinals said, no, we are too. Let me just start throwing the ball around all over the place.
Cardinals are like, you ass, we ass. 48 minutes of absolutely saying, hey, Cam, we're about to show the world that you are not a liar, my friend. But yeah, in the end, they did win the next game after he said that. That will be just like Joey Slye kicked a game-winning field goal. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Tyler Lockett had the huge touchdown. However it came about, he had a touchdown. Yeah. Big time touchdown for Tyler Lockett. So it all counts, man. And Cam Ward said what he said, and they won the next game. So hey, I don't know what you want.
Cam Ward, 21 of 39, 265 yards passing, no touchdowns that came through the air. He did have one that came through a wild series of plays and a fumble recovery, 1 interception, and a quarterback rating of 64.6. We'll take your thoughts on Cam Ward's day yesterday, where you think Cam Ward is at this point through 5 games in his career. All that coming up. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Mondays were made for Macero. Big screens, bold flavors, and all the football action from queso to kickoffs. This is how Macero does game night. Macero Football Mondays in 12 South. Don't miss a snap. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, taking your thoughts on the Titans. They win 22-21 against the Arizona Cardinals yesterday, discussing Cam Ward's day. Let's head to our 1025 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Jared in Spring Hill to the program. Jared, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, what a game. That's why you can't turn off the game. Never ceases to amaze me, this National Football League. But, yeah, I really hope that Cam Ward can put that last final drive in a bottle for next game, or maybe even prolong that for the next couple games, because I do think they're winnable. Yeah, it was just really nice. We haven't seen that in a while, and like that kind of stuff. And there's a lot to improve on in his game and as well as the team. So leading into, I just hope they're not too hungover next week when they go out to the city of hungover in Las Vegas. So, yeah, maybe I just got to be positive and a slightly lower Titans. Tighten up.
There we go. Jared from Spring Hill on the program. It's the slightly lower T Titans.
Would it be higher T?
Yeah. The somewhat capitalized Titans.
I don't think it could have gotten a lot lower. But sometimes, it's just like one of those little blue pills. Sometimes a guy drops the ball at the cusp of the end zone and boom, it's just a jolt.
How do you think he's feeling today? You think he's going to be on the roster?
Well, he has to be because all their running backs are injured. But my gosh, I got to say, sometimes I see those plays and it's like, it's weird. Like I hate to do, and I'm not saying this at all, but like when I see plays like that, sometimes I'm like, is that dude on the take?
Yeah.
It's just like, it makes no sense at all. And it happens. Like it happens way more frequently than it should.
Well, the fact that it still happens when there are, at this point, so many examples
happened last week.
Yeah, I know.
A.D. Mitchell for the Colts.
2 weeks in a row in the NFL.
Yeah, which lost them the game. Oh my God, the Colts will be the talk of the whole freaking league.
I know. This is the fact that this still happens is just amazing to me. And I don't understand this fascination of, I got to drop the ball when I'm heading into the end zone. It's like, just hold on to the ball. And then if you want to drop it a couple seconds in to do whatever celebration you're going to do, then I guess do it. But I can't believe this is still a thing in football with how many times this has happened over the years.
But yeah, especially a guy like this, I get, like you said, what he had three career touchdowns. It's like, grip that football tightly and get it to your wife.
Yeah, take it with you to the sideline. My goodness.
Yeah, I mean, jeez. Yeah, it's pretty amazing, how things like that come about. But again, you have to take advantage. There is some sentiment on the text line today that is like, Matt, I've seen a couple people say, well, this stinks because now, Brian Callahan will get the whole season. I mean, first of all, I have no idea if that's the case. I suppose you could, again, if it screws up like getting the top pick at the end of the year, and who would it be? Maybe Carson Beck, the way he's playing, whatever. Somebody's in love with the top quarterback. It's like, man, that could have been an absolute haul, and you could have moved down and still gotten like Reuben Bain or something. Then okay, you can be mad about it at that point. But I think at this point, just any sort of change in what has been going on should be embraced.
Yeah, I mean, I would encourage Titans fans. There's still going to be a lot of opportunity for losing coming up. A lot of opportunity for losing coming up. I mean, I don't think this is a stretch. I think they're probably going to be, the underdog in every game they have from here on out. The Saints won yesterday. Looked pretty good against the Giants. I think they're probably going to be the underdog in every single game they play. So I wouldn't fret too much about the draft pick yet. I mean, one win, I guess maybe at the end of the year we look back at it and we say, oh boy, the 2-15 Titans barely outlasted the 1-16 Saints or whatever it was. And we could look back at that. I don't know. But I think the Titans are still going to be right there in the mix of the number one overall pick. I wouldn't freak out too much about that. Just enjoy the win.
Yeah, they'll be in there. Yes, exactly. Just it's something different. And again, I think the thing that that you take that you hope means something is that your number one pick quarterback, has he really looked like the number one pick? He's had some good stretches, but way more bad than good this year. The fourth quarter, 193-yard fourth quarter with the 3 throws you mentioned earlier, which are all like dimes in clutch moments in the pressure. That's what you hope resonates and carries forward.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully it does, because to your point, I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in quarterback play of the type of throws that guys can make, right? Like it's all Cam Ward can make this play, or Cam Ward's first touchdown pass of his career. It's like, well, how many quarterbacks can make that play? And I don't know. Like, I don't know what the answer to that is. Like, I think it's probably more than Titans fans want to admit when you look at quarterback play around the league. But really, the bottom line for quarterback play is it's great to be able to make those plays. And if you're in situations where you have to make the spectacular play, it's awesome to have a quarterback that's able to do it. But if you can't make the mundane plays in addition to it, then it doesn't really do you a whole lot of good. Like that's the majority of the NFL is, can you make the plays that the defense gives you and that are presented to you time and time and time again? Like, can you put the ball where it needs to be time and time and time again? And frankly, to this point, he's just not done that. Now, it's 5 games into his career, so I'm not going to freak out about it yet. But can we start to see progress in that area, right? Like throughout the game, is Cam Ward dicing the defense up from the standpoint of not the spectacular throw all the time, but putting the ball where it needs to be, play in and play out. That is the art of playing quarterback in the National Football League. And he's got a lot of work to do on that front.
Yeah, and seeing things quickly and getting to the progressions quickly and having the feet, having the footwork sound play after play after play. We look, like, to your point on arm talent, Joe Milton can throw like a 50-yard like rope for a crossing pattern if you want to downfield. I mean, he has the best arm in the NFL, and he's a backup. So to his credit, he's a backup, but he's probably not going to be more than that. It's just there's a limitation to what it means. Cam, and I saw Chig quoted by Nick Suss, talking about Cam was like, I wish we could do like 2-minute all the time. And it's like, and Chig's like, yeah, it's great because I'm paraphrasing, because people play, basically soft zone, which is true. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, it's great to play hurry up 2-minute against soft zone defense and be able to, just have easy access throws. They want to make you earn it. But the thing is, that was the situation, and he still, especially those 2 late ones, the Helm and the Ridley over the shoulder passes.
Yeah.
Those are throws that defense is not supposed to allow. Like, you have to be just absolutely pinpoint accurate for a throw like that to work against a defense playing you the way they were playing. And so that's pretty big time. But, that isn't how the game is played for the most part. You don't want to be sitting there down multiple scores in the fourth quarter, and that's how you finally start moving on offense.
So what do we take away from this game in addition to Cam Ward? Titans win the game. They improve to 1-4. What do we make of what this means for them, where they sit through the first 5 games moving forward here? A couple of takeaways that I've got from yesterday's game as well that I want to get Joe's thoughts on. All that coming up. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning, live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. We will have Corey Curtis from News 2 coming up for his weekly visit at 8 o'clock. We will get his thoughts on the Titans and their win, baby, against the Arizona Cardinals. Titans win. They improved to 1-4 on the season. Just an all-time giveaway by the Arizona Cardinals in that game. But you know what? If you're a Titans fan, you'll take it. You'll take a little bit of luck going your way this time around. Taking your thoughts on the Titans win, 615-737-1025. Joe, a couple things in addition to Cam Ward that I want to get to that continue to stand out to me. This is now 2 games in a row, and it wasn't perfect. And you brought up somebody earlier in the show that I still continue to have pretty big concerns about in the Mandor, Dan Moore. But I will say, I expected them to walk into Houston last week, Joe, and for Cam Ward to just be totally under duress the whole game. And that did not happen. Now, they only scored 0 points in the game last week, so it didn't pay off very well for the Titans offense. But at least, like, Cam Ward wasn't back there just getting rocked on a snap-by-snap basis. I mean, yesterday, Arizona had 2 sacks and 4 quarterback hits. Josh Sweat had both sacks by the Cardinals. And then other than that, and Adam Archuleta pointed this out a lot on the broadcast too, it was pretty clean in the pocket for Cam Ward yesterday. It wasn't perfect, but pretty clean for the most part throughout the game, which I thought was an encouraging sign, Joe. 2 games in a row where the protection has been decent for Cam Ward back there, which has been an upgrade.
Yeah, no, I was surprised for sure. And overall, he definitely had. I feel like there were still some. In fact, I think some of the rougher moments where he's kind of running around, I thought he kind of did it to himself a couple times, where it was like, yeah, you had more time than you thought, but he kind of, the feet can be a little happy sometimes. And as you mentioned, Mandor blew open a couple times. The wind was, and yep, there's a quarterback in there again. Easy for me, but still, yeah, it's not. It is. It seems to be improving. The pass rush coming inside doesn't seem to be happening a lot, which is a huge thing, and even like right tackle, which I think is going to be upgraded significantly. Well, if you're the Titans, you hope significantly with Latham returning, but I think just all the tea leaves and then what Brian Callahan said late last week would suggest that he was very close to playing this week, so he should be back next week. So, yeah, that part of it actually is not terrible.
I'll tell you one thing that is bad. Here's my other takeaway. Oladejo's bad, man. Yeah, it's not good. And I don't want to spend a whole lot of time today in the aftermath of a Titans win talking about it, but I thought he was pretty rough yesterday. And it's one thing to just not get after the passer, which is basically what he's been all year, just invisible on that front. But I thought there were some bad angles yesterday. They pointed out, Archuleta pointed out on the broadcast, he was responsible for the spy on Murray one time and just totally started running the other way, and Murray got around the edge on him. It was not very good from Oladejo yesterday.
Yeah, well, you noticed him more than I did then. Good for you, because I think that's the thing. I think you have to, glaring mistakes aside, he's just a body, when he's out there, he's just a body. And, so that's discouraging. And again, it's like project fine, understandable. You definitely want to see, first of all, by year 2, that's got to be a difference making starter. Projects in this league aren't multi-year things, right?
Yeah.
By year 2, you got to be as a second round pick where he went, you got to be a good starter. And this year you got to show something. You got to progress. If you have the tools they believe you have, and you're a project. Well, then all you're doing is trying to work on this craft, day after day. And so there should be progress made. Doesn't look like there is any right now. I mean, that's an important thing for the rest of the year, regardless of everything else, is that you see something from him. You see some hope that it's not just going to be a complete second round 0 pick.
And here's the other thing. Jim DK in the return game is a weapon. Like he may house a couple this year at some point if it keeps going this way. Like, he got one called back on the punt return a few games ago, but a 65-yard kick return yesterday, that was a big play in the game. Like, I understand the kickoff in particular right now is set up for more of this, and kickoffs around the league, as we discussed a couple weeks ago. I mean, they're returning as many of them as they can at this point, which is good to see the kickoff be an actual play again. But it's also good to see the kickoff be an actual play and the Titans maybe being able to take advantage of the kickoff being an actual play. That would be that is, it's been a long time since we've been able to say that.
Yeah, I mean, if you can figure out Joey Sly, then the overall kicking game is awfully good. I get Joey Sly, game-winning field goal kicker I have from yesterday. So I mean, what about two yards further back and he misses? 3?
Yeah, pretty close.
Something like that. But no question. DK is a weapon. The overall picture of the special teams with Bones Fossil is absolutely a better. And you watch him and you think like, man, can they, is there a future where they can get him a little bit more involved and use that speed on offense more?
Right.
And I know they've done some stuff, and certainly he's a sweep guy, and he's been able to have a few opportunities downfield, but that just seems like something that you want to try to cultivate moving forward.
Yeah, and I think Ward had him on one yesterday.
They took one shot yesterday,
yeah. And it just, they would be nice to dial that one in for sure, because I think he can be a weapon back there. So, Joe, obviously we've spent so much time this year talking about Brian Callahan, and, some people have said today that, well, now they're going to keep Brian Callahan the whole year. I mean, we'll see. There's a lot of football left to be played. And look, I think it was great for the Titans to get a win. As I said to begin the show, if you're a Titans fan, I hope you enjoy it, because you deserve to enjoy an NFL Sunday and Monday when your team won a football game. It's been a while, so I hope that's the route that most Titans fans take. I still think, like, if you're Brinker and Borgonzi and you're looking at this, like, how you won the game yesterday. It had a lot more to do with Arizona just totally screwing it up than it did you winning the game, and they're aware of that. Now, at this point, I don't know that Brian Callahan wasn't going to get the whole year anyway. I don't think that yesterday's game changes the overall picture of Brian Callahan all that much. I will say, like, it was, as somebody who, as you know, Joe, has been very critical of Brian Callahan and thinks that the Titans need to get rid of him. It was nice to see the Titans get a win yesterday. I felt good for everybody involved, because frankly, it had gotten to the point where you just basically started to feel bad for everybody involved with how bad it was going.
Yeah, like how often you talk about, like, not being able to turn away from like a car accident or whatever, but like how much can you watch it over and over again? And it's gotten uncomfortable around here. So I don't think this really changes much of what's going to come whenever it comes. I don't think this is going to be some for the team, for the coaching staff, going to be some huge thing. That'd be shocking if it turned out that way. To me, again, what you hope is that this is a thing for the rookie QB, and that moves them forward. But again, these guys, their job is to develop him. Their job is to get the most out of him and have him progress through this year, whether they're going to be here next year or not. We don't think they will be. So, can they build on this in that way too? So, I mean, second day. I mean, again, all these things were going to be, wow, is this a new low? Like, it was going to be like, is this a new low? Yeah, they had the 6 points, so they didn't miss those field goals in the first half that they missed at Houston. But is this actually the worst performance of the Titans? Like, it was trending that way for 48 minutes of football. So you got to keep that in mind. But they made plays. They took advantage of an all-time choke job. And so, I don't think it's going to mean much to the big picture. But the biggest picture is Cam Ward, right? So what does this do for him?
Well, it's also kind of, speaking of coaches, like if the Cardinals just totally spiral from here, or like let's say they're like halfway decent the rest of the year, but they miss out on the playoffs by like a game or two, and you look back at that game and like Jonathan Gannon ends up getting fired for all this. Can you imagine like the damage that loss to the Titans could do to the Cardinals?
No, I mean I actually I thought I think I said it going in the year. I thought that they might be a little bit of a surprise team. I think they're pretty good, and again, like when they had James Conner, like he's a very good football player. And I don't know what's up with Marvin Harrison Jr. Like you were saying earlier, I thought he was on his way to about a 250-yard game, but he still had 98 in the game. But that could be absolutely devastating for them. Like the Cardinals are one of those franchises that has a lot of losses that are like they're like the Lions and the Browns. They're one of the bad franchises. This one though, like this one's got to be like at the top of the list.
It's
like this one will be remembered.
Oh yeah. If you were in that stadium yesterday, you'll remember that one for a long time. 615-737-1025, our phone number. Some more Titans thoughts to get to coming up next. We will get into Vanderbilt's loss at Alabama later this hour as well. The Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up at 7:45. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. DVD with Willie Donick, Derek Mason, and Adam Vingan will be broadcasting live at the all-new Circus Sportsbook Kentucky in the Mint Gaming Hall today prior to the Monday Night Football game. Head up there to watch the Chiefs take on the Jaguars, plus ask about Circus giveaway of a trip to Las Vegas for the Titans-Raiders game, which, by the way, is next week. So make sure you ask about that very quickly. Taking your thoughts on the Titans, 615-737-1025. Joe, we mentioned Ridley. 5 catches for 131 yards yesterday on 10 targets. A couple of routes, Joe, where I looked at it and I was like, he's coming in and out of the break with a quickness, with a purpose. He had an out route that he caught on the sideline. It wasn't a big play or anything, but, he was just full dead sprint and then cuts out to the left. Ward hits him on the sideline over there perfectly. I just thought Ridley looked like the Calvin Ridley that we have grown accustomed to expecting yesterday and what we thought we were going to see heading into the season based on the connection between Ward and Ridley throughout camp and throughout the preseason. So positive signs for the Titans yesterday. I think that's probably where you start is Calvin Ridley and the way that he looked. 5 catches, 131 yards.
Yeah. No, very much needed without question. I said it earlier, but it's like immediately my thoughts turn to, okay, people out there who might need a number 2 receiver. Who would that be, by the way? What team out there might be looking at Calvin Ridley? Buffalo? Okay. Yeah. Actually not a bad thought at all. Buffalo losing to Vrabes and the Pats last night at home. That's a stunner. But no, the Titans, whatever happens with Ridley, it really is an interesting question, right? It's like you want Cam Ward to develop and be the best he can possibly be this year. So why would you take away someone who actually can manipulate a defense, who actually can demand extra coverage and can make explosive plays both downfield and with the ball in his hands? For what do you get back for him?
4th, maybe.
Yeah, see, for a 4th, I'm just not doing it. I think I'm going to keep him for Cam Ward. But until or unless that happens or doesn't happen or whatever, very much needed for the Titans for him to emerge. And I think there's a lot of talk sometimes. People are struggling like the Titans have. It's like, oh, they're fighting, they're resilient. They keep working, all this stuff. People have been pretty adamant about that with Ridley, to the point where I think you have to believe it, and I think this is an example of, obviously things haven't always worked out. And how many times has he not made plays because the quarterback missed him or missed a read or couldn't get to the read or whatever? I'm sure that there's been some plays out there that aren't on him that have been left on the field, but there are plenty that were on him too. And he just has been struggling. So that's a big development. Another guy like that, Robbie, we haven't talked about yet, but I find this really interesting. I think Callahan and other players were saying the biggest play of the game was L'Jarius Sneed, chasing down DeMercado, before he fumbled. I don't know that I buy that. Good for him for running fast. He didn't
touch the ball, but yeah.
Yeah. Did he influence him? I don't.
No, he didn't even know he's behind him. Clearly.
Yeah, so it's like, I guess, in the moment, whatever, you're Callahan on the sideline, the play happened, you're on to the next play, you're coaching the game, and maybe but it was something he said in his post game, was like how huge of a play that was.
Simmons did too.
Yeah. Yeah. So Simmons or Chig said it was the biggest play of the game. It's like, there is no way that was not the biggest play of the game. I don't think it was a play.
It's a
good for him. He ran.
Yeah. It's a good thought. The effort was good. Look, you could, it's noticeable when you watch it because, he is running his butt off back there. He's trying to get to him. But again, if the guy just holds on to the freaking football going into the end zone, it's hey, good effort, L'Jarius, but didn't quite get to him on that play.
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but it didn't even seem like he even realized that was. And the thing is, if he did realize he was coming, isn't that when you rip the ball and say, okay, I'm not messing around then?
Yeah, if he did realize it, he was even more of an idiot for not holding on to the ball coming into the end zone.
Yeah. So, but people are, with Ridley, it's like production's there. Good for him, no question. That was a big moment. With Snead, it's like people are desperate to see something from 38 that isn't just subpar at this point.
Looked at DeMarcado when he was going to the end zone and said, "Who are you? Who's that?
What's that in your hand?
What's that? Is that? Did you drop
That's
the ball?
a what?
Oh, okay. How about that? Let's head to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in George in the borough. George, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Gentlemen, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. I called in last week and talked about how this team basically can win only about one of three ways. The other team has a fourth string quarterback, the other team's hands are tied behind their back, or the other team pukes away the game. Arizona puked that game away. That's one of the most unbelievable collapses I've ever seen from an NFL team. That yesterday, that's the only way the Titans can win games is what happened yesterday. I still think Cam needs a lot of work and he needs more help from his receiving core. Remember in the offseason, Cam, I think he said he could potentially have a top 5 receiving core, whatever nonsense he spouted. Dude, you got horse crap for a receiving core. And at the end of the day, he still is a moron for a coach. He's got a moron offensive coordinator who I guess can't call plays because they skipped over him for the quarterback coach. He has a stooge running the football operations in Chad Brinker, who's done nothing productive to help the Tennessee Titans since he arrived. The CEO, Bert Nihill, thought Callahan and Carthon were great hires. Actually, they were very bad hires, just like I think Bert Nihill is a very bad hire. Hey, look, I appreciate a win, but I want to keep things real and honest. This team still blows, and yesterday proved the only way the Titans can win a game is the other team throws up all over themselves and hands the Titans a free win. Gentlemen, I love your show, but that's all I've got today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, George. Appreciate it. Joe, took about an hour and a half, but we're back into a little bit of normalcy there with that call. It was a nice brief escape for a while. Reveling the Titans win.
This is a victory Monday, George. I will not have this kind of slander thrown the Titans' way. I see resilience. I see relentlessness. I see a big dub.
I mean, I was really kind of hoping
he's mostly right.
He's mostly right. I was kind of hoping that Callahan would walk into the press conference yesterday and look at Kuharski and be like, "Hey, what do you think about that, buddy? You want to do a story on any of our slogans on the wall now, buddy? What do you think about that?"
Hey, come here, Paul. See that says exit. Get your ass out of my press conference. You're out. If only we could only be so lucky.
Joe, another game where Jeffrey Simmons was just all over the place. I mean, he had a sack and a half. He got credited with 8 tackles, 6 of them solo, 2 quarterback hits on the game. He was in the backfield a lot, wreaking havoc. And look, Herndon said this, and I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like I've watched every defensive tackle in the league so far this year. It would be hard for me to imagine very many of them playing at a higher level than what Jeffrey Simmons is right now. Herndon said he's the best DT in the NFL right now through 5 weeks, and that was on full display again yesterday against Arizona. He was dominant in that game.
Absolutely. I mean, this is like if I were still, I'd be like, "Told you and appreciate it. He's going to be great." But I wouldn't do that. See, I just use Rip on Stilly to actually, basically tell everybody that I told you so. But no, I mean, look, the guy, like, obviously, the losing the weight was a big thing for him, and it doesn't appear to have cost him any of his power at all. And I think I did not think we'd be talking at any point in Simmons the rest of his career, which I think the best of his career was in 2021, about him possibly being that level of player. Like talking about him legitimately being the top DT, but I mean, I can't argue with Herndon at this point. And it's really interesting, Robbie, because even though we may think it's a foregone conclusion with Brian Callahan and this coaching staff, they're fighting for it, right? I mean, they're fighting for their jobs. If they beat the Raiders, all of a sudden, which is absolutely on the table, Brock Bowers is hurt. The Raiders are terrible. If they beat the Raiders, we will be sitting in mid-October. They will be 2-4.
Correct.
And you're 2 weeks from the trading deadline, and it's like if you're this coaching staff, if the front office moves Jeff Simmons, which is the sensible thing to do if you get a first rounder, but think about how absolutely incapable of looking like an NFL defense your defense will be.
It will be bad.
You will not come close to winning another game. And I'm not saying Jeff Simmons is winning games single-handedly, but seriously, take 98 out of that defense, which already has so many issues with him on the field, and tell me how bad it'll be.
It will be very bad.
So if you're this coaching staff, it's like you're not just trying to show you can develop Cam Ward and fight to the end of the year. If you get gutted at the trading deadline, then isn't that basically saying thanks, guys, do your job the rest of the year, and good luck finding jobs next year?
Yeah, that would be what that is saying. I don't think there's any doubt about that. 615-737-1025, our phone number. Corey Curtis coming up at 8 o'clock from News 2. We'll get his thoughts on the 22-21 win for the Tennessee Titans yesterday. Joe, a big game over the weekend. Vanderbilt heading down to Tuscaloosa, and it did not end well for the Doors. We will get into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. The MTSU Blue Raiders taking on Missouri State this Wednesday at 6:30. Catch all the action on Totally Hits 93.3 with coverage also available on the Totally Hits Nashville app and at TotallyHitsNashville.com. We have the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up at 7:45. Corey Curtis from News 2 will be with us at 8 o'clock. Talking all things Titans, we'll get into the Titans' 22-21 win against Arizona with Corey. Joe, a big game in college football this weekend. Vanderbilt heads down to Tuscaloosa, and it does not go well for the Doors. They lose 30-14 in what was a very competitive game for a while, and then Alabama broke it open again late in the game. Ty Simpson, 23 of 31, 340 yards, 2 touchdown passes, and a pick. And Diego Pavia and the Vanderbilt offense, Joe, struck very quickly in that game, and you thought, oh, boy. I mean, Cedric Alexander just broke off a 65-yard touchdown run. Here comes Vanderbilt again heading into Tuscaloosa, and they're going to shock Alabama again for the second year in a row. But some crucial mistakes by Pavia in the game. A couple of turnovers in the red zone, including a fumble, and then an interception in the second half, and that was just too much for Vanderbilt to overcome. And they lose 30-14 to Alabama. Joe, you were there. So what did you make of the game between Vanderbilt and Alabama?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, my prevailing memory of that game will be standing on the sideline right behind Johnny Manziel as Alabama fans behind me are just screaming some of the most awful stuff. And he keeps turning around, flipping them off, grabbing certain body parts, inviting them to do certain things to certain body parts, striking the Heisman pose. Jeez. And it's just like, good God, man. Yeah, he's on the Vanderbilt sideline in the Pavia jersey. It was, did you see, by the way, the Bama fan screaming at Pavia video?
Oh, yeah.
Good God. So some of these people, it's like if you are a grown-ass man and you're going to be that much of a loser in public, maybe you should, have a couple fewer drinks than you did on that particular day. Yeah, but I'm not, Bama fans listening. I can't sit here and pretend because I haven't really. You don't always have the experience in every stadium or whatever. It depends on where they have you stand late in games and stuff. But I have, between this game and then the Tennessee game 2 years ago, the drunken foul, and a lot of it is students, I think, just horrible stuff screamed. I really have not heard it anywhere worse than in that stadium. I mean, it's crazy. But anyway, the game itself, there's my little PSA. Calm it down, drink a little less, swear a little less, Alabama people. Yeah, Pavia, the fumble, that's a great play by Jefferson for Alabama. I mean, he hit Pavia about 4 or 5 times Saturday where it's like, my goodness, he is teeing off on him for all the talk. And it was a great play to rip it out. That's he wasn't going to make the first down, so it was going to be 10-0 Vanderbilt. That's significant. But I think also huge, maybe the biggest moment of the day, Robby, was Vanderbilt comes down late the second, and they put together a really nice drive. Really some great stuff from Tim Beck, and you got a little play action, then you shovel it. You go in left play action, you shovel it the other way, get Alexander in the end zone, go up 14-7. And Bama comes right down and ties it.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Simpson with some terrific throws. Jeremy Bernard is, talk about Ryan Williams, but he's a pro too. They have 2 pro receivers. And Simpson, to me, I think he was the best player on the field overall. He made some mistakes. He took some sacks you can't take. He almost had the fumble that was taken back all the way, but those calls were right. I mean, those to me, clearly, those calls were right. The 2 fumbles that both they went Bama's way. And then Pavia with the pick. I mean, you're about to go up 21-20 in the fourth quarter and put all that pressure on Alabama. Like we talked about last week, what happens if you're in the fourth and it's a 1-possession game, or even Bama's trailing? How do they respond? And we'll never know, because he just didn't see. I mean, he had to have been wrong on the coverage. He just didn't see Keon Sabb, who was, I don't know if he was like the robber on that player, but Pavia just blew the coverage. He immediately went to the sideline, and they were pointing it out, and he was just like, oh, it was a misread. It was a huge mistake. And then from there, Vanderbilt's defense was exhausted, and they just ran the ball on them. And it was, but look, I guess I'm interested to hear from Vanderbilt fans, because if I'm a Vanderbilt fan, yes, it's disappointing. And now the margin for error is very slim. You're talking about the playoff. but I'm not like devastated by like what I saw from my team. I'm confident in this team moving forward that it has some wins in it left. And that, and again, look at everything else. Again, the Texas game that I thought was going to be, forget that one.
They suck.
Never mind. They're bad. So like, it's a tough loss, and it's tough that your Pavia is the guy who he just didn't come up big enough. He didn't come up with the star performance you needed. I still would feel pretty good about things as a Vanderbilt fan right now.
I think the script like almost totally flipped on Vanderbilt for what happened last year. I mean, number one, the time of possession. I mean, it was almost 38-22 for Bama in that game. And they were talking about this on the broadcast too, late in the fourth quarter. What did Alabama run against Vanderbilt last year? Winning like 45 plays or something ridiculous like that. Like late in the game, I think Vanderbilt was at like 40. So, I mean, the script almost totally flipped on them from what they did to Alabama a year ago. I'm with you. Like, Vanderbilt made some plays in the game. I think if you're a Vanderbilt fan, the thing you look at that can hurt the most, but also probably is the most encouraging, is there were plays out there left to be made that you just left on the field that had you made one or two of them, maybe the game goes differently and it flips on you a little bit. So I'm with you. Like, I don't look at that Vanderbilt loss and think, well, it was a good story, but they're just done now. Like, I think they're going to have a chance against LSU. I mean, I think they're going to have certainly, like if Arch Manning can't complete a forward pass, like it seems like he's unable to right now, they're going to have a chance against Texas, even though it's on the road. Like, they're going to have a chance in that game. So by no means is their season done, or do I think that they're just totally screwed now. But I will say, like Pavia, usually Pavia backs up what he says, and he's kind of directly responsible for two of the big moments in that game Saturday. Not what you were looking for from him on Saturday.
Yeah. No doubt. Like, those are the moments. Talk the talk, didn't walk the walk, did take, took the blame after. So, and I that's not surprising to me. He's definitely not like a talker who then like shuns responsibility. So he put it on himself, and he was right. Like that, I'd love to see that game play out from there, because they were scoring, man. Like they were moving. They had first down at like the 13, and it was just like, they. So at worst, I guess, obviously Bama could have stopped them, and it would have been 20-17 Bama. I mean, even that, you get it down to a field goal, and it's just you'd love to see. Maybe Bama just does the same thing. They just have Vanderbilt's defense tired, and they run the football. Jam Miller is a good player, but again, I also think about just what we thought a month ago with some of these teams, like the disaster of Kalen DeBoer, you know, and how he is just, it is ugly, and now it's like, okay, I don't think their defense is great. It's still talented, it has flaws. I think Ty Simpson should be, he can extend. That's the thing. He did some Pavia stuff with extending plays.
No, he's good.
And keeping his eyes downfield and ripping some passes. And like he's not. I don't know. I don't know like how quickly things could develop in terms of like him being an NFL prospect. But I definitely at times some of his throws, you're like this kid's got like the whole package. He's athletic. He moves around. He seems to process really fast, and he can rip it. So all of a sudden it's like, oh, so maybe Bama could be the best team in the SEC. Is that possible? I mean, I think there's about probably 4 or 5 teams right now that can claim that.
Yeah, I think so too. And they look good. And again, to your point, they're not without flaw, but they're playing good football now after what was just a disaster of a loss for them to start off the season. I mean, it's an interesting weekend in college football. I mean, you had the Miami-Florida State game with Miami continuing to look impressive. You had Penn freaking State losing to UCLA, and Nico Iamaleava looking great out there in that game. You had Neuheisel's kid out there who apparently took over play calling duties like 2 days before it happened, getting carried off the field like a war hero. Like, it was unbelievable what happened at the Rose Bowl over the weekend.
I know it looked like because he has that floppy hair. I'm like, is that like a 12-year-old they're throwing around? Like, who is that? And like it's like the ball boy. Yeah, we love you, man. I mean, I tell you what, no, the whole James Franklin thing. It's always big game James, and they handle their business otherwise. And they're now, I mean, Texas and Penn State both. I picked Penn State to win it all, by the way. So I'm a really good prognosticator of college football. Yeah, let me raise my hand on that. Boy, all of a sudden, like he probably just needs to get the heck out of there. Like just with one game, but it's years in the building of sort of like, okay, it's really good, but it's not good enough. You want to compete for championships. You lose that game. I mean, with what's supposed to be his best team, after he stole Ohio State's defensive coordinator, paid him $3 million for that guy to come out and make Nico look like a Heisman winner.
Yeah,
it goes. I mean, it goes from 0 to 1,000 like that for James Franklin and Penn State.
I would love to know the odds you could have gotten over the weekend if you picked a Penn State loss, so UCLA win and a Titans win at the same time. If you're that combo Titans UCLA Bruins fan, you could have made a whole lot of money this weekend.
Imagine that parlay. Oh boy. Unbelievable.
615-737-1025 our phone number. The Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up next. Corey Curtis at 8 o'clock. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode 1025 The Game.
Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment. Let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
We had a love fest. We all kind of gathered around. We hugged each other.
Cut their jugular and eat their spleen. What do you think about that, buddy?
You think the darkness is your ally? I was born in it.
I would be teaching them to go Forrest Gump. Just keep running all the way through the end zone into like the exit to the stadium.
He must be the stupidest son of a liar, but he sure is fast.
Hey, come here, Paul. See that? That says exit. Get your ass out of my press conference.
Would you call this cutting someone's jugular, Mike?
1 week we're going to stink, and this guy sucks, and then I suck.
It is time for the Rex Rant, brought to you by Functional Medicine of Tennessee. Rise up to better health. Check them out at functionalmedicineoftennessee.net. Anytime we can work Forrest Gump in, I'm good with it. What a movie that is. Joe Rexrode, the floor is yours.
It's an amazing movie. However, Best Picture 1994 should have been Pulp Fiction, not Forrest Gump, but that's a debate for another day. They're both great. You know, Ian, along with those amazing intros, like he must be a mind reader because he's even added another log onto the fire of this rant. So I'm going to read. Ian sent us this tweet from Ross Martin, who covers North Carolina. It says, quote, according to sources inside the North Carolina football program, it's a directive from the staff, Bill Belichick, to not tweet/retweet anything Patriots related. That's clearly why UNC football has not posted anything from Drake May's electric primetime win over the Buffalo Bills, end quote. I think that's a pretty good way to sum up just the absolute insanity of how Bill Belichick is savaging his legacy. He is a joke. He is a joke. And it's in there's, and I'm not even talking. I'll take the ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies, take that aside. Okay. I mean, it is part of it, but you don't even need that anymore. The whole pettiness of like not mentioning Robert Kraft in his book, this whole, we're not, they don't welcome me, so I don't welcome them. And Vrabel's like, yeah, you can come whenever you want, Bill. They just had him up for a ceremony and he's this pathetic. But you know what's worse is North Carolina football. They've played 4 Power 4 opponents. They have been outscored 120-33. That's an average of 40-8. And it's not like they're playing Ohio State here, guys. They're playing a bad Clemson team that has its own embattled coach, and they lost 38-10 Saturday. And it truly is incredible to see how he and his people have completely bungled this entire situation. Michael Lombardi, who is ready to he's ready to call out any media guy who questions Belichick at any turn. The brilliant GM of North Carolina football. He sent a letter to supporters. This is from Football Scoop, published this letter, saying all the roster issues, saying, hey, we're about to sign 40 high school recruits this winter. Okay, that's double the process. Here's the things he mentioned. He mentioned the Sixers, the trust the process long build. Okay. He talked about Mac Brown going 2-20 in 1988 and 1989. He talked about like Lou Holtz's first year at Notre Dame in the 80s, like 1984, or Kirk Ferentz at Iowa when they went like 1-10 in 1998 or 99, whatever it was. These are the examples. And then Belichick struggles early. These are the examples cited. Have these guys noticed what sport they're in or how it works anymore? I mean, they have a terrible team. For example, they let 2 guys after spring, okay, Bo Atkinson, D lineman, who would be their best defensive player, left for Ohio State. Linebacker Amari Campbell, probably their second best defensive player, left for Penn State. They let all these guys leave. They signed a bunch of guys who are terrible, clearly terrible. And I'm going to read this quote. David Ubben wrote about Belichick, but I'm going to read this quote from, this is a group of 5 coach, okay? And what he actually said over the summer, we did a story about like North Carolina, like, are they getting good players? It was like, boy, it looks like they're kind of building a bad team. We had no idea it was this bad. Here's the quote from this coach, okay, who's anonymous. But he says, quote, did they understand they're in the ACC and not like Conference USA or the Sun Belt? Like, we got beat by North Carolina on a bunch of kids. I was like, why the F is North Carolina beating us on kids? Like, when I run into power fours over and over again in recruiting, I'm like, oh, okay, well, they're going to suck, end quote. Like, he has no clue what he's doing. He's driving that football program into the ground, asking people for patience like it's freaking 1997. I just quit and go live on an island and stop being a part of football in any way, please. This is more embarrassing and more awful than I ever could have imagined. And I know that sometimes things start badly and they turn around and all that stuff. This is not going to turn around. This is terrible. And it's insane that someone that smart and that accomplished and all those guys could come in and butcher something this badly. It is truly, for all the things we just talked about, James Franklin and Penn State, and look at Arch Manning in Texas, and there's all kinds of stuff. There is nothing like Bill Belichick and North Carolina and the disaster that he has turned it into with a snap of a finger.
The more time that goes on, the more patience I have for the, oh my God, if Tom Brady had to overcome Bill Belichick discussion. Like, that's how bad it is. Like, I used to laugh at that and be like, okay, guys. Now I'm like, yeah, maybe he did. Maybe he did. Maybe he did have to overcome some Bill Belichick. Because the thing that I can't get over is for how long everybody viewed Belichick as just like this super genius out there. And how dumb he is now. Like, those two things just don't add up to me. Like, and I understand he's gotten older, but my goodness, like, he just looks like he's totally incompetent in everything he's trying to do out there. Right? It's crazy to me.
And by the way, the North, yeah, it is. I still have to think it's like he can't have.
He's like a control freak, kind of, right?
Taylor.
Does it feel like a control
freak? He's a total control freak, yeah.
At this point, right? Like too much.
So are a lot of college football coaches. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, but like Saban's a control freak, right? I mean, it's just like just a bumble. It's just amazing the stupidity, Like, you can be a jerk. You can be. There's some programs out there that don't let anybody have any access to them, things like that. And I still have to think that he was really good. I mean, again, they had those teams that really weren't just totally dependent on Brady. They did eventually get to the point where they were totally dependent on Brady, but I don't know what's happened. It's truly amazing. And the North Carolina AD wanted no part of this, by the way. This was board of trustee powerful booster power move to make this happen, when the North Carolina AD wanted to hire an up and coming good young coach, which is what you should do if you want to win in college football. And man,
it's going well.
I mean, the only thing worse than this is if the two boosters at Arkansas who are best friends with Bobby Petrino somehow ram him in as head coach. That would actually take a little heat off Belichick, if that happens. But my goodness, man, he is. It's truly incredible. Texter says, makes me think the cheating helped a lot. Yeah, well, they did cut some corners too, man. They did. The whole league was like, wow, those guys try to do anything they can to get an edge. So maybe that's something that's part of it too. But people cheat in college football too. Figure that out, Bill. Cheat somehow.
Yeah,
I don't know how. Go find Connor Stallions. My God, do something.
Corey Curtis from News 2 will be with us coming up next. We'll get his thoughts on the 22-21 win for the Titans against the Arizona Cardinals. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning. And as we do every Monday morning at 8 o'clock, we head to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in our friend Corey Curtis from News 2, brought to you by Tennessee Men's Clinic. Corey, we got a Titans win, baby. How's it going?
You know what? As I sit here this morning, and I splash water on my face, and depending on how you're feeling in the morning is like how big of a splash you get, and like how long you look in the mirror and try and figure out if you need the last 24 hours of your life back. So I was thinking, man, that's a big splash of water from John Gannon this morning. And then I pictured him walking into the kitchen to get coffee, and Belichick and Franklin are sitting at the table. They'd already gotten up.
Oh yeah.
And just like the silence in the room as they're looking at each other. and then Belichick's fiance walks in the room. Hi guys.
How's it going, guys? How's it going, fellas? I mean, look, Corey, we all know, like, as much as the Titans won the game yesterday, the Arizona Cardinals just absolutely gave it away. So we can acknowledge that while also saying, if you're a Titans fan, hey, man, just enjoy the win. We haven't had a whole lot of those lately.
They seized on the opportunity.
Exactly.
You know what? You have to be able to do that.
So I guess I want to start on the Cam Ward front, because I thought for the first 3 quarters, basically, of that game, he was pretty bad. Like, he was all over the place with his accuracy. But then, when the door opened up and Arizona creaked that door open for him, he made some huge throws in that game that led to the win. So what did you make of that part of it from Cam Ward, and do you think that can be a building block for him in this offense?
Well, if you go back to last week and then the first half yesterday, he was 15 of 42. Okay?
Not very good.
That's not good. That's not good. That's not good in any way whatsoever. That's why your defense is on the field. That's why you can't put points on the board, because you can't complete any passes with any kind of consistency. And I like the young man. He's extremely talented. I do think he will get it. I am hopeful that that fourth quarter in particular was a real, what do you call it when you proof of concept? It was a proof of concept for him, because I have been begging the TV or the stands when I'm at the game, from the stands or from the press box, for him to take the simple throw underneath, especially to the tight end, the guy who's open, instead of trying to force it into double or triple coverage downfield, trying to take a shot all the time, especially on first down. And he got into a rhythm there in the fourth quarter where he dropped back, planted his back foot, and threw the ball to the tight end or threw the ball to the running back. And I think each tight end wound up with 4 receptions. Yeah, they had 4 receptions on 5 targets. That's 80%. Okay, that's a good number. All right, and so they're not all going to be shots. You want them to take shots. That's part of the reason. The Calvin Ridley throw, the 2 Calvin Ridley throws, those are absolute reasons you hire him. But there's a time and a place, and for somehow, some way, he embraced that in the fourth quarter of that game and hit that rhythm where he's able to complete some short passes to guys who are just open. And you don't have to get 10 yards on every pass. You can get 6 yards on first down, and it's a great play. It's a great play. Or you get the ball in someone like Chigakonkwo's hands, who can run after the catch, and he turns 6 into 16. And so I thought, we all rave about the pass, and we should. And he was excellent in the fourth quarter. But I think the reason he was excellent is because he finally relaxed and realized he didn't have to get it all at once. And, that'll be interesting to see if it carries over the next week.
Yeah, well, that's that was my question. I think that's a really good point on your part, Corey, because, we've talked
Thanks,
mostly
man.
about.
You're welcome.
Well, this is what we expect. Absolutely.
The precedent has been laid. There's proof of concept here.
That's right.
Long
That's
history.
Right. But but we were talking about, I still think the throw to Ridley, like, that's just that's an absurd throw. Those are the things you remember.
Yeah.
But to your point, it is like, can you take the layups? Can you take the mid-range shots and not just hit the 25-foot 3-pointer at the shot clock buzzer? So
it's the number one thing getting in his way right now.
Yeah. So Do you think that they should get Latham back? They actually,
Yep.
I mean, the next opponent is one of their best opportunities left on the schedule to get another win. Do you think that this will be like some kind of a turning point moment for Cam Ward?
I don't know. That's why they play the games. I mean, I would hope so. I mean, like I said, the fourth quarter, we throw for like 187 or something like that.
Yeah, 193.
And he had like 70 to that point. So, there are yards to be had there. I mean, you saw the play where Chig made the catch and beat two guys to the sideline and turned it upfield. You can, and it helps when the receivers, these two other things. Receivers have to catch the passes that are thrown to them, and he can be more accurate. He can give them more catchable footballs more of the time. His accuracy does need to improve, and that's not me slamming on him. That's just Josh Allen's accuracy was horrific his rookie year. Cam Ward is a sniper compared to Josh Allen as a rookie, and so you can improve that part of your game, and I think he will. I think it'll get better while trying to stay a playmaker. That's why I said he should be able to look at the film because he loves to watch film and see the proof of concept and understand this isn't college football anymore, and everybody needs to grow together, including him.
Corey, can you explain to me how people continue to run toward the end zone in the National Football League and drop the football before they get in there? Look at me. They're more concerned. The best part was after he did it, and then he got on his knees and raised his arms to the crowd. And I was like, oh man, he had no clue. I'm a big proponent of field awareness. Like all the time. You're a professional, field awareness. By the way, the Titans were in like a 0 defense that play. So the moment he cracked the seam, there was no one there to stop him. Yeah. And L'Jarius Sneed was a good 8 to 10 yards behind him for as much banging as we've done on L'Jarius Sneed. Even if he didn't touch the ball, the effort was there. But I mean, didn't Jonathan Taylor do this? Well, the AD Mitchell did it last week.
Mitchell did it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Mitchell did it. Yeah. I mean, we just keep seeing it, and here's the other thing: it keeps costing teams their games. I mean, that's 3 straight walk-off losses now for the Cardinals, and that play could very much be like the Bears' Hail Mary in Washington last year. This team could go into a death spiral. I mean, they did on Sunday. After that, it was 21-6. Yeah. They still had a 2-touchdown lead. Titans had to go 80 yards. They haven't gone 80 yards in 3 weeks. And the moment you have that huge emotional hurdle come up, all of a sudden the Titans march right down the field and score. I mean, it just goes to show you the fine line in the NFL that we always say the bad teams can win games. Blah 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 blah. It doesn't. I mean, you could say it doesn't take much. I mean, that's just one play, and it totally derailed that football team. And he had a really not nice conversation with the head coach on the sideline. And if I were the head coach, I probably would have had a not nice conversation too.
Well, so that play, the snap off Kyler Murray's head.
Oh, did that concuss him?
I thought it did for a minute. I was like, because I was saying earlier in the show, Corey, I never want to laugh at somebody's concussion, but if he would have got one off of that, I would have been like, oh my God. But apparently it was a foot injury.
The cutaways of Kyler on the sideline were just adorable.
But you have those two, and then you have the interception that is then fumbled into the end zone, and you recover it. That combination of things, Corey. You've been watching the NFL for decades. Have you seen anything like that? That combination of absurdity in one game to change the result?
To put it in perspective, I saw a stat on Twitter last night that said in the history of the NFL, 171 0-4 teams have been down by 15 going in the fourth quarter, and only one has won. And that was the Bears, I think, in 2008, which I want to know how some team blew that game. So, this was just the second time in 172 chances for an 0-4 team to come back from 15 down in the fourth quarter. The Titans had been outscored, I think, 41-7 or 17 in the fourth quarter of the season. It was not good. And they outscore the Cardinals 16-0 in the fourth quarter yesterday. I mean, just a total role reversal. And Joe, you talk about the fumble going to the end zone. It wasn't just the fumble. Like 3 Cardinals had to touch it to push it into the end zone.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the only thing it was missing was a clown car pulling out and 3 more Cardinals falling out to push it even further. I mean, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. But the thing I have stressed to everyone is you never apologize for winning. You never apologize for another team mistake. And if you're not playing hard, you don't take advantage of those mistakes. And they took advantage of all those mistakes, and they deserve high marks. And Arizona absolutely deserves all the grief it's getting. Last night was an A+ night for Twitter in an F+ era for that platform.
Oh, yeah.
Colin Cowherd, Mike Greenberg. I mean, just some of the tweets that came out. Now, Ryan Fitzpatrick saying it's the worst loss he has, in all caps, ever seen for a team. And I get it. They're not wrong. They're not wrong. But you know what you do? You take that check to the bank and you cash it and you go buy yourself a new suit.
Well, Corey, to that point, last thing for you here. Like you said, I mean, it's a total giveaway of a game by Arizona, but it is a win for the Titans and a team and a franchise and a fan base that, as you know, needed one of those really, really badly. So they got it.
Yeah.
What do you think that does for this coaching staff, this team? Not in terms of their future, whether or not Brian Callahan's keeping his job, but just taking a little bit of the stress off, taking a breather heading into this next week.
You can take a breath, and there's a couple things to take a breath about. Number one, the pass protection's getting better. I mean, I don't think there's any question about that. I mean, even that play where he threw the pick and he left the pocket. I mean, why are you leaving the pocket, dude? The blocking's there. And so the pass protection is better. They need to catch the ball better. They need to throw the ball better. Those two things can go with it. But you saw in the fourth quarter, what it's capable of when they will take the completions and catch the ball when it's there. And so you've got this proof of concept that's not just bad to put out there and to show your team, look, we did these things and we won the game. Okay. It's a much happier film session. At least I would think it would be. For Brian Callahan, maybe only 1 bottle of Maalox this week instead of 2. And so, he, you talk about a guy relieved. And I don't blame him. Like we've all said, he is a nice man, and you'd love to see things go well for him. And the biggest thing for him is that gets him out of the Ken Whisenhunt territory. He's got 4 wins now, not 3.
Yeah.
So he's out of that range. But so that was really that was really, really something. But yeah, so they've got a couple things to build. Also, turnover margin, they're +1 for the season. They're creating more turnovers. They're getting some help. I mean, 2 guys did let go of the football without being touched. So I guess they would be at -1 had that not happened. But they're still in a much better area than they were last year.
There's no doubt about that. Corey, it's fun to talk about a Titans win. I don't know how many more times we'll do it this year, but it was fun while it lasted today. Thank you for being with us, and we will talk to you next week, my friend.
Let me run one more by you.
Okay.
Of just how absurd this weekend was in football. The AFC South went 3-0 outside the conference, outside the division. I can't even remember the last time that happened. The AFC South has 2 4-1 teams.
Yeah. Hey, another chance
tonight, baby.
Another chance tonight.
And I think there's a legitimate chance that the Colts are actually good.
Yeah. I mean, they certainly look good against the Raiders. There's no doubt about that. Corey, thank you, sir. We'll talk to you next week.
You guys just can't get enough of me. That's okay. I got other people to talk to.
Well, that's fine. Well, that's why we do this every week. Get more of you.
Count the minutes till next week.
Go Bears.
Thanks. Corey Curtis, brought to you by Tennessee Men's Clinic. We'll react to what Corey had to say. Take your thoughts on the Titans win, baby. 22-21 against the Arizona Cardinals. More coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Preds fans, Smashville Live returns tomorrow night at Brewhouse South in Cool Springs at 6 o'clock. You can see your Preds star players up close and personal. Your chance for autographs and pictures as well. Tomorrow's Preds player guests, Nick Hague, Nick Perbix, the two new defensemen in the fold for the Nashville Predators. That's tomorrow night at Brewhouse South in Cool Springs and on 102.5 The Game. Titans win 22-21. Taking your thoughts on the win on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. 615-737-1025. So, Joe, I said to begin the show, and I would stand by it. If you watch the game, you know that game had a whole lot more to do with Arizona giving it away than it did the Titans taking it. So I understand that. I mean, you're talking about a guy dropping the football before walking into the end zone on a 76-yard touchdown, or what would have been a 76-yard touchdown. Arizona intercepts the ball and then fumbles it and then kicks it into the end zone, and the Titans recover it for a touchdown. So it's a pretty special set of circumstances that had to take place yesterday for the Titans to get that win. Having said that, that's a 10-game losing streak that snapped. You get your first win of the year. There haven't been a whole lot of wins that have come around here the last couple of years. So I hope Titans fans are enjoying the win, even with the circumstances that happened there. But, Joe, to your point, I don't know that I've ever seen anything like that in the National Football League, what we saw yesterday from Arizona. It's unbelievable, the series of events that took place for them to lose that football game. I mean, it's going to end up probably being just an absolutely devastating loss for them. But if you're the Titans, you sit back, you say thank you, and you take it.
Right. I feel like there are crazy things like this more likely in college football. Mostly kids 18 to 22. I guess now it's like kids 18 to 26, but
35.
College football, yeah. College football has more stuff like this. The NFL, like you think about there was the punt thing with the Eagles and Giants that was in the movie that Marky Mark was in.
Invincible.
Thank you. I mean, there's been crazy. There's Hail Marys and stuff like that. I'm glad anytime we can bring up the Commanders Bears game from last year, I think that we should bring that up. But yeah, that many things. I can't think of something. Someone may be able to. If you can, I'd love to hear it. But that many things combining to hand a team a game, I can't recall that. But yes, Titans still had to take advantage, still had to make plays. Cam Ward made big-time throws. Calvin Ridley looked like a big-time receiver. Jeffrey Simmons continues to look like a dominant defensive player. And, they did get, some stops in this game that were important. I'm a little bit hesitant to make much of a big deal out of L'Jarius Sneed running really fast when I don't think that had any impact on the play, but he ran fast. He hustled. So that's good.
He tried.
People like Titans calling that the biggest play of the game. That wasn't a play. It was the biggest play of the game because of what was handed to them. But like trying to make that like Sneed made the biggest play of the game. He ran fast and almost got there.
He ran fast, almost got there, and the guy had no idea he was behind it.
Yeah, or else he probably it's of course we would never know this, but if the guy was conscious of Sneed, he probably tucks the ball and runs through the end zone, and Sneed's hustle actually screws over the Titans and denies them a victory, which again we wouldn't know because we would just see a 28-6 game that probably ends up like 35-9 or something, But hey, they did make some plays, and so give them credit and just give them a couple days to enjoy it because this has been awful for them. As bad as it is in this town, for people who care about this team, it's got to be bad for the guys playing for the Titans and coaching for the Titans too. So give them their flowers.
Oh, it's been a slog. There's no doubt about that. It's been an absolute slog, and good for them for, Denver tried to hand them a game earlier this year, and the Titans basically handed it back to them. And the Titans, to their credit this time, absolutely took advantage of it. And I said it earlier, I think yesterday is a pretty clear example of momentum being a real thing in sports. Like the emotional blockage that took place from Arizona after he dropped that football and the life that gave the Titans. Even after that, when the interception happens and you just kick it back into the end zone and then Tyler Lockett picks it up. And basically from that point on, the Titans actually looked like they believed they had a chance to win the game. And to their credit, they went out there and did it. Now, on the Cam Ward front, Cam Ward, I thought, not very good for the majority of that game. And then he made some huge throws late that allowed the Titans to move the ball down the field and win the game. We will get into Cam Ward's performance. We will take your thoughts on what you saw from the Titans rookie quarterback yesterday. All coming up next. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
But once you got in there, when you've got those 10 minutes at least before the doors open and stuff, did you celebrate in a different way? It's your first win. Obviously, this team's had a tough time, and the comeback was pretty dramatic. I mean, can you share with us a little bit behind the scenes of how excited you let yourself be over it?
Me and my man, Coach Nick, was right. He lost his voice today. He was so happy. But I think that was the biggest one, just seeing him. He stuck to it. He told us he was going to get a win, and he's going to be the most excited person in the locker room. He was. So I just think it just meant something to everybody for us to finally get a win, finally know what it feels like. But we all know we got a new team next week. We play against a very talented Raider team, and, we just got to try to go in their place and win.
That's Cam Ward after the game yesterday. Titans win 22-21. Cam Ward on the day, Joe Rexrode. 21 of 39, 265 yards, no touchdowns, had the one pick, a quarterback rating of 64.6. Now, for the majority of the game, Joe, I thought Ward was off, not good, inaccurate with the ball. I think he was 5 of 16 for 58 yards at the half. Some of that was on him. Some of that was on some drops by the receivers. But I think even when you watch some of the ball placement on balls you'd like to see be caught by the receivers, it was just kind of all over the place. It was all over the map, and it was rarely hitting receivers in stride there. And then the script flipped, and as the Titans were getting new life from Arizona, basically handing it to them on a silver platter, Cam Ward made some huge throws late in the game, and I can think of 3 off the top of my head. 2 to Ridley. One of them was a strike over the middle to Ridley on, I think it was like a 47-yard play. He had Ridley, of course, the big one on that last drive on the sideline. He dropped it in the bucket right over the shoulder. And then a huge one down by the goal line to Gunnar Helm that Gunnar Helm made a good play on the sideline as well. 3 really good throws from Cam Ward. So, Joe, in some ways, it kind of felt like 2 different performances. Like for the majority of the game, Cam Ward wasn't very good yesterday. And then he made some huge plays when it mattered the most for the Titans and made some huge throws. So overall, if you're the Titans, if you're a Titans fan, how do you view that? What do you take away from Cam Ward's performance in the 22-21 win yesterday?
Yeah, well, you have to hope that it gives him a boost of confidence, and that some of the more mundane things can get better. Again, we already knew Cam Ward can make ridiculous throws. Now, we hadn't seen him do a string of them in a clutch moment before, so this is a breakthrough. But there's still the quickness of processing, the feel in the pocket, not running yourself into pressure and sacks, and then just that accuracy. And I feel like when the Titans were talking about drafting him, 2 things we talked about that I thought were really concerns. One is the risk-taking element, which is kind of a Levis thing, right? Too, but he tried some stuff in college, even last year with a really good team around him that you just can't do in the NFL. I don't think that we've really seen much of that, but the consistent accuracy is the other thing. And I think it's an underrated thing still for NFL, because people don't get enamored with, Kirk Cousins just being, here we go. Yep. Quick. Boom, boom, boom. Here's the ball out. Jared Goff. I mean, those are guys who come to mind who they make up for other things they lack because they put the ball right in the right spot, right on time, all the time, over and over and over again. And I don't expect a rookie to be able to do that, but you got to be able to, when you do have the throw, you got to have better ball placement. And so I don't know that this does anything for that, but hopefully this is a confidence builder for him and for the team. And at least, I mean, you know what we'd be talking about, Robby? Like if they, just say, they don't drop the ball going in for the touchdown, it's just a blowout loss. We'd be right back to did we ass hurt?
Yeah.
Was we ass bad? You know what I mean? So at least the next game after that, you won it. You were clutch late. There is certainly some ample talent there, but a huge talent that is not negotiable for an NFL quarterback is consistent accuracy, and it's still a big question for me with him.
Well, again, it's great to have the ability to make the big throws, and I think we saw some of that yesterday, right? I mean, some of the throws he made to Ridley and that one to Helm, those are great throws. I mean, those are high-level NFL throws, and to have the ability to do that is a good thing because not everybody, not all quarterbacks have that ability in the National Football League. But what you also have to have, and what makes you great coupled along with that, sure, Mahomes makes some of those ridiculous throws too, right? Stafford makes some ridiculous throws. Rodgers in his heyday makes some ridiculous throws. But they also make the throws you have to make on a down-by-down basis, just the easy ones, over and over and over and over again. That's what they do. And Cam Ward isn't doing that right now. He's 5 games in. He's a rookie. So I'm not hitting a panic button on that. Some of that is to be expected. But I do think, that's probably the main thing I'm looking for the rest of the year here is there meaningful progress there? Like the wow throws are great. The touchdown pass he had for his first touchdown pass of his career, it's awesome to be able to make that play. But you're not going to survive in the NFL just making those plays. Like you have to make the plays that are given to you by the defense over and over again. And that's probably the number one thing that I'm looking for the rest of the year. And the number one thing he's got to work on the rest of the year is just those consistent throws down in, down out, short to medium range. Can you make them?
Yeah. And of course, the coaches also have to give him easy answers too. You know, give him answers and put him in position. And I'm not sure they've been great at that. But also I don't think that it's been a disaster in that way either. There's plays to be made, there's plays to be made. And he's missing too many gimmies. I love this. There's a lot of texts that there's a lot of back and forth that some people are like, oh my God, this win means nothing. What are we talking about? And then some who are like, what can I please just enjoy like a couple hours of this? But right. I really like this from Julian. He says, this sort of feels like the opposite of a moral victory, maybe an immoral victory.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
The Titans' immoral victory over the Cards.
By the way, I can report I'm back in the text line now. So you're no longer by yourself. I'm back in there.
Okay, good. Nice. It's been popping today. And, I get the disagreement. Some people are like, please, we cannot, and I totally agree. Like, we cannot act like this is this team has turned the corner. They were handed a football game.
Yes.
Like, I've never seen a team handed a football game.
Silver platter.
Also, when you suffered this long, anybody involved or just following the team, take whatever positives you can take.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Let's head back to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Mark in Clarksville to the program. Mark, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Morning, guys. I love the show.
Thank you.
It was an amazing game yesterday. I think we shouldn't take from it that the Titans won it as much as the Cardinals lost it. And unfortunately, I went back and looked at Cam Ward's statistics and recent Titans draftees. Back to Vince Young, Jake Locker, Marcus Mariota, and Will Levis, and Cam Ward through 4 games is lags in every category except for interceptions. So I can't be real optimistic about Cam, although he did come through in the clutch. I still am a little skeptical that he's going to pan out as a NFL starter in the long term. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate the call. There's still a lot of work left to be done, Joe. There's no doubt. I mean, it was great to see him come up with those throws yesterday. I mean, you can't throw the ball better than he threw it to Ridley on the sideline. There's not a quarterback in the league that can throw a better pass than he threw to Ridley on that play. So, those are not meaningless plays. The ability to come up big in those moments is a very good trait to have as a quarterback. But to everybody's point, I'm looking at the the stats right now. And the one thing that just has to get better, and you can blame whoever you want to blame for it, that's fine. But you cannot win in the NFL long term with a completion percentage at 51.8%. And
No.
it's impossible. Like that has to get so much better as they move forward here.
Yeah. And dice that up, drops, sure. Play calling, play design, offense, maybe some protection, maybe some, forcing, like having to rush throw, stuff like that. But yeah, there are way too many instances of he's got time, someone's open, it's what should be a simple throw. And I'm not saying he's going nuclear loose with although every once in a while you get one of those too, but just a little bit off, and I just think some of these drops are absolutely two parties responsible for them. More, if you get two hands on it like Lockett did yesterday, sure, I'd put more on him. But you could make a better throw there. And I think when receivers, if you're not a consistently accurate quarterback and receivers kind of don't know what to expect on a consistent basis, then I think you also have more drops because of that.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's fair. And again, like some of them, he just missed, right? Like, I mean, the route that Chestnut was wide open down the field. I mean, yeah, technically Chestnut got a hand on it, but like that's a throw you got to make, right? Like that's a throw that needs to be made. And I know he had some pressure bearing down on him on that play, but there was just a lot in the game that you look at and you're like, man, there's some plays there if the quarterback just hits him. So again, like it's almost a tale of two games. Like he was pretty inaccurate for most of the game. And then when they absolutely needed him, he was, precise with the ball. Like it was pretty crazy the way it kind of worked out that way. And again, as we mentioned earlier, Joe, Ridley, 5 catches, $131 in the game. Like he was exactly what they needed him to be.
Yes, and that's big. Whether he's going to be here long term or not, however long he's here, Cam Ward needs a guy like that. Ron says Cam to me seems better in a 2-minute drill or fast moving offense, and Cam said that too. Let me ask you though: is there any quarterback in the history of football who wouldn't say that? Like, has there been a quarterback who's like, I never like the 2-minute drill. I like to slow it down.
No, they seem to all like 2 minutes.
Right, and especially you're behind in a 2-minute drill because you are. Like, you're probably not going to see a ton of pressure or man-to-man coverage. You're going to see a safer zone look from these defenses. Like Corey brought up the point earlier, hitting the tight end and stuff, and I agree. Late in the game, some of that stuff is a little bit more easy and available to you. Now, the downfield throws were fantastic, but yeah, you're not doing that for a full game anyway. So it's good that he is good in a 2-minute drill. But again, I think most quarterbacks would prefer that and are more comfortable in it, especially if it's 2-minute, you're behind, and the answers are really easy for the short and intermediate stuff.
615-737-1025, our phone number. One more segment on the Titans win yesterday, 22-21 against the Arizona Cardinals. Coming up next, hang with Titans fans, including the crew from 1025 The Game at Overhang Bar at Circa, and drink specials are included, plus giveaways to 2 tickets at the Titans of the Raiders game as well. Go to circalasvegas.com for more information. This is Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Taking your thoughts on the Titans. They win 22-21 against the Arizona Cardinals on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Joe, if you're in that building, if you're Brian Callahan, you've heard all the noise. Like, you know what the score is, what the situation is right now, and bottom line is, I think it's still, even with a win yesterday, going to be very difficult for Brian Callahan to keep his job moving forward. However, you get the win, you get some temporary relief in a game that looked like it was going to be pretty bad, and we're going to be talking about an 0-5 Titans team, and then it turns on a dime thanks to some help from the Arizona Cardinals, and you get the win. So if you're Callahan, if you're on that coaching staff, if you're a member of that locker room right now, what does yesterday do for you? I mean, they're not idiots. They know how the game played out, but it's a win. They don't ask how. They just ask how many. What does yesterday do for you if you're a member of that team right now?
Well, apparently it turns Nick Holtz into a dancing machine.
Apparently so.
So that's exciting. Well, I'm sure it's not that different from the players. It's like you said, it's just like relief. It's just just something different other than, oh my God, now it's Monday, and Callahan has to answer for this or that, whether it's his own terrible mistakes or it's just like the overall awfulness of the performance, whether the team is still engaged, whether the team has any hope left, et cetera, et cetera. This is, again, it's only Brian who has to deal with us, like the Monday stuff, but like it's actually talking about a win in retrospect. And just look, this was handed to them. However, you still have to do some things to still accept the gift, and they did late in the game. So you got to have some positivity from that. You got to have some confidence from that. No one, I don't think, in their right mind is looking at this as any sort of sign of some big turnaround or big successful things to come. I don't think anybody would think that. I mean, they can say that in the building. You got to try, you're trying. I mean, Brian Callahan's speech yesterday said this is just the beginning. So that's what you're trying to make happen. Realistically, I don't think there's going to be much more success this year. But I also thought yesterday, as even before he was streaking toward the end zone to make it 28-6, I thought, this team's got a shot to be 0-17. Well, it doesn't anymore.
Yeah, and there's no doubt about it. A win, regardless of how it comes, can be a healing balm from the soul at times. I mean, one texter says, I wouldn't care if they beat White's Creek in overtime. I needed this for my soul. I think a lot of Titans fans feel that way today. I mean, think about what they've been through the last couple of years. Hadn't been a whole lot of winning that's going on out there. Somebody, Corey brought up the pass rush, the offensive line. I think the offensive line, while not perfect, has been better. It's been improving over the last couple of games, right? Like, Ward was sacked twice yesterday by Josh Sweat. I think Arizona had 4 quarterback hits on him. So while there are still some reps where, the man door opens and it's not great from Dan Moore out there at left tackle, on the whole, they are getting better at protecting the quarterback. So that's good to see right now. And hopefully, as Latham gets back into the fold, that gets even better and better as the year goes along.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that Max Crosby generally comes from the left, or the defense's left side. I think that's right, which means he's coming at the right tackle. And I know they move him around and stuff, but I think that's where he's more comfortable, as opposed to like a Myles Garrett who's coming from the right, coming at the left tackle.
Yeah.
So the right tackle would seem to be important in a game against the Raiders, who are absolutely terrible. But they do have that guy, and I think we're going to see Latham this week. So what happens if he is back? He is healthy. He can sustain it, and they've got that. Again, I think the run game definitely benefits. I don't have any doubt about that. That Latham in there helps the run game. Is he ready to give some decent pass pro too? And is this offensive line actually growing into something where it can at least be okay?
Joe, a lot of people on the video stream wondering what you're doing, if you're staining a deck or if you're you're out getting a tan, like what's going on out there?
Well, the sun is kind of, kind of hit me, but I'm about to maybe go frolic on some sand with water nearby.
Old Hickory Lake's really nice this time of year. Hope you enjoy it.
Wait, what'd I do?
I said Old Hickory
What?
Lake's really nice this time of year. I hope you enjoy it out there.
No, Mill Creek, man. I live by Mill Creek, or Mill Creek, if you prefer.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's beautiful this time of year.
Yeah, sure is.
I got my floaties.
I mean, speaking of water, that Milky Pool, it'll be going tonight down there in Jacksonville.
Oh,
Monday
my
Night Football.
goodness.
See if the Jags can take down the Chiefs. That's going to do it for us today here on the program. Titans fans, enjoy the win, baby. You deserve it today. We'll be back 6 a.m. tomorrow. Next Man Up with Jake Lyman coming up next. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.